Alright. Hey everyone. Okay, so update on the level design thing. I decided to go ahead and refine a little bit further the flat sheets and go with the flat sheet design method and see just kind of what I can do with it. And um, it works so well, and it's actually more enjoyable to build this way to a point that I really don't want to bother with the brushes. Like, even if it means I kind of have to figure out there are some kind of workarounds, or maybe I'm gonna have to like build meshes that replace this stuff piece by piece. It's just a really nice and easy way, and you can do it all in the orthographic view. You don't have to worry about it. You can also do weird angles. You can build structures on any kind of angle that you want. Like if you look at how this building kind of just juts in, and it has, curves and everything like that. This kind of thing is kind of a pain in the ass to do with brushes. I mean, you can do it, but it's not clean when you do that kind of stuff with brushes. It typically gets pretty messy. And so, also yesterday I was going into the whole design concept of doing something that feels a little bit more like Dark Souls kind of level design. So I decided to go with something that's a lot more gritty, uh, a lot more grand. And one of the things that I really like about this design method is that it makes it easier to do like the tall ceilings and the angly, like this section starts off on a coplanar 90-degree angle, and then it rotates a little bit, and then this section's actually going to be kind of like on this angle for a little while. And I'm thinking of having, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do in this area yet, but the next area is going to be even more. So it's almost like this whole level is kind of like on a curve. And doing that kind of thing with brushes is a pain in the ass. Anyway, I guess I don't really need to keep drilling in on that. I got my point across. As far as like the design, using flat sheets versus other design things, it just feels better to me. Um, so you have this like much more moody, an atmosphere where you're kind of looking up, and then there are just zombies kind of sprinkled around, and these are like the first zombies that you see, and there are quite a few of them. Um, uh, the time to crate is very low currently. When you first start, when you first start the game, I don't want you to be in the hub area. In other words, I kind of want you to start where it's a set location like this, right? And then you go and you get your first loot, which is this, which is all stuff that you've already seen before, because these concepts have not been thrown away. This is pretty much how I feel uh, things are could work. I might hide something over here, maybe, I don't know, but maybe an extra ammo thing or something. Then you kind of go around. You have a little bit more leeway. I'm going to be depending on the player's ability to navigate a little bit more, but I'm not going to go too far with it because I know players are. Um, I'll be sticking to the design philosophies of what I see in Dark Souls, and that is fairly long paths with interconnectivity sort of interspersed. And I kind of want to make sure that I have a feeling of like rather than progressing from one area to the next. So this is actually probably going to end up feeling pretty different pacing wise than my Doom 2 level, which I'm not sure how I feel about that yet because I kind of want I guess there's just going to be points in time where there's just lulls, where there's really not much fighting going on. There's a zombie down there. And there are like alternate paths, and and interconnectivity, which I believe are I think these are like the kinds of hallmarks that you would see in a kind of Dark Souls style level design. So like, and that's pretty much that. Like, I'm going to go much further in this direction, and I'm going to stop worrying about the graphics as much. Although I do need to make icons because I think icons, at least a base icon that shows you like what type of item it is, the category of item. Uh, I think that's important because it's too hard on the eyes right now to have to read these icons all the time. Like it, if it probably feels really strange to a lot of players. Uh, it's kind of weird. I lost my armor by unequipping the worn body. Um, I guess it's not weird. It's just weird how it happened. Like if I quit unequip it, all of a sudden I had mega armor, and then it was counting down. It's kind of strange. Something you don't see in other games very often, huh? Um, so yeah, like kind of picture areas that are kind of like this, uh, multi-tiered verticality. Not necessarily ambushes, but I guess there's going to be quite a bit of that. Um, Sort of interdispersed. You might see traps. I guess also too the difficulty of the game ends up being a little bit more about paying attention, which I think is another aspect. That's a really different style of game, honestly. In most first-person shooters, it's a lot more flat. It's a lot more like, there's the problem. I have to solve the problem. I'm solving the problem right now with my gun, right? Or here's a switch. I got to solve the problem with the switch. In a Dark Souls kind of thing, it's more like, huh, what's going to kill me next? Go down here. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, all right. I lived. I lived. Oh fuck, there was another one. I didn't see that guy. Damn it, I was so stupid and I died. Right? Like, um, in a first-person shooter, has a first-person shooter ever flowed that way? I mean, there probably is a first-person shooter that flows that way. I haven't played one where like death is like a part of. I guess yeah. I guess there's at least one that I know of. I haven't played it, but it's like a roguelike. But I'm not making a roguelike. I don't know, honestly. What I want to make is like a weird hybrid. Hmm. So I guess once you go through this doorway here, I want to toy around with having a branching like a stairwell with a few floors that kind of goes up. So it's like a one of those stairwells that sort of spirals up. I mean, not like a full spiral, but like you go up a little bit and then you're on another floor and then you go up and then you're on this floor and then maybe there's another way into a larger open space where I train you on the type of scripted battle sequence. So the scripted battle sequence is kind of like there are these nodes that are sort of placed throughout, and you have the option to go up to the node whenever you want to. And basically, you activate the node by walking up to it or destroying it or something. And once the node is activated, uh, for a certain amount of time, monsters just start spawning all over the place, and you have to survive. And maybe I lock you in the area, or I make it so like if you try to run away, the node will like reset or something. So if you get too far away, or if one of the players on your team decides to just run away out of the fighting area, then it resets the fight. So you have to like stay in the area. Um, Maybe the node won't activate if you're with your friends and you're playing co-op. Like the way to activate it is for all of you to walk up to it at the same time. That way, there's no like somebody can be on the other side of the map. So what these nodes do, aside from spawning a whole bunch of monsters, which gives you a lot of experience points, when you defeat the node, you get an experience point reward, and then you get unique loot drops, or not unique, but like higher quality loot drops. Now, I can also do unique loot, sort of just spread all over. So imagine kind of like a big, like like a big section of just the level, and then you have like, just sort of different sections and nooks and secrets and all kinds of shit like that. And a lot of them will end up having like either a crafting material that's kind of hard to find, or maybe like a unique weapon or piece of armor that isn't available anywhere else. You could do that kind of stuff, and that's it. I think that really covers it. I was asked on my YouTube channel, what makes this unique from like other games, and honestly, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm trying to make something that's unique. I'm just trying to make something that I think is cool, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm probably not going to accomplish making something unique, um, but it is something that I have made. So it's sort of like this is what happens if you have somebody who makes maps all the time for the fuck of it. Like I like to make levels. I'll make a Doom level and people will play it. This is what happens when that person has too much spare time and learns how to just fucking make a game and does the same and comes at it with that same exact perspective. Like this is my UE4 mod. Um yeah, I guess so. Uh There's a lot of infrastructure in place already. I already have the monster types that I want for this first section. This place is called the Dark Base, and I'll even have like a trigger that brings up the name of the place when you enter them. Like, like I'll have it actually tell you the Dark Base, and that would end up being like a base that's not so much darkness, but a base that um, is no longer signaling any of its surroundings through radioactivity or radioact radioactivity, not radio, no, not like through radios. I communicate with with radioactive materials. Um, yeah, there's like it went dark. There's nothing here. There's no power. Oh yeah, that's another thing I wanted to kind of this this is also the first time I think it would be a first person shooter where you're kind of free to do whatever you want. Um Personally for me, mind blown. Fucking mind blown. Like I mean not if I was to do like something like Fallout, yeah, fine, whatever. Fallout, you do whatever the fuck you want. In this it's kind of like a weird this is the first time I would ever have made a single player thing where like you don't have to fucking get a key to open a door. Like you can just go anywhere you want. You want to decide there's a section I want to try and do a section like if you go down the stairwell here, if you go down, it takes you to another map where it's like level 8 monsters. Like it's the final area or like one of the final areas. So like if you decide to go that way, good luck. Like you're gonna be fighting shit that's probably going to be like 10 levels above you. And you can try. You won't have a shotgun and you won't have an assault rifle. That's the other thing too. I don't want the players spending too much time with just pistol. So I have to figure out how to like how it would be a good way to nudge and nudge the player in the correct direction to make sure that the player ends up getting like I was thinking of putting the assault rifle pickup here, like or something like that. Maybe that's not how it would work though. Maybe if it's in the hub. If it's in the hub and you have to spend credits to get it. And I have no idea what the death penalty should be. If anybody has any idea what the death penalty should be, let me know. Because, yeah. Like, what should I do for the death? Like, punishing death. Should I just make it so you drop all your shit? Should I make the game, like, fucking super hardcore? No. No, I shouldn't do that. But, I mean, there should be, like, I don't know. Maybe, maybe, like, one of your, maybe you lose experience points on death or something. God, that's just rude. So you get into a weird situation where losing experience points, a lot of people are really put off by losing experience points. And that is a negative feedback loop, right? It's it's something that puts people off. Whereas you can do the same thing in terms of like punishing a player for loss of time in ways that is even worse than losing experience points. But um, you it doesn't feel as bad. So like you have in World of Warcraft, right? Like if you die, you lose gold basically because you have to repair your gear. And it's possible I could just do something along those lines, like when you die, cost a certain amount of credits or something in order to like lose a debuff or something that takes a while to like go away, or I don't know. That sounds kind of lame too. I don't know. I guess maybe the best thing really is adding a risk versus reward. The longer you stay in the active field, the more you risk just losing everything that you've collected up to that point, or something like that. That's why the souls are such a genius idea. Like you might have like a huge bunch, like a fucking massive amount of souls, and you don't want to lose them when you die. That's identical, and actually is actually even worse than just losing experience points when you die. By the way, losing souls when you die is by far much worse than losing 20% of your experience points. Um, you know, 20% of the experience points that you need to gain the current level that you're on, because you only lose a set amount. In practice, it's actually far more damaging, but for some reason, it's not something that'll put people off as much. I mean, I could just experiment with the idea. Hey, if you die, you just fucking lose experience points. Makes the game kind of scary. Like if you die too many times in a row, you might actually like de-level or something, which uh maybe I can't do that. Yeah, that's right. No de-leveling. You can't de-level. Like the experience just goes down to zero, and you have to basically start over. Like you won't be able to gain level if you die. And then once you level up, it doesn't matter if you die for a little while. Like you don't lose as much experience points. But if you're right about to level, if you die at that point, you can like lose you can lose a whole bunch of XP. Hmm. Yeah, maybe that works. I don't know. Any ideas on that? I think would be really cool. Anyway, the video's been going on for a little bit. I got everything, all my points across. I am pretty sure that I can fix. Right now, the flat sheets do not have light maps on them. Um, I don't know why, but for some reason I can't get light mapping to work on these flat sheets. Uh, but it would actually be really cool if I wanted to. I can just slap materials onto these things and have them actually look like the kinds of materials that I want the game to look like. In fact, you can almost see like these squares right here are about the size of each pixel that I would want for the size of something like this. um, and that would then make it so that I can literally just do this for the entire thing. Like right now it's pretty cool though because it's just letting me focus on the space and the combat. I can build this fairly quickly and it's a lot of fun to build. In fact, I'll probably start doing some time lapses of me actually building these areas. Um, it's very fun, very fun. Like building, you can build things on any angle you want. Oh God, love it. Um, all right, so the video's been going on for a little bit. Been talking a bit. I'm going to end it here. Let me get, let me know what you guys think, and stay tuned for more.